Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mental Health Check. This is episode 2, featuring a close friend of mine. For security and privacy reasons, he's going to be going anonymous this episode, but we're referring to him as Delta. So, welcome to the show, Delta.
What's going on, man? It's good to be here.
Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely.
So, today's episode is going to be featuring a wide variety of stuff. We're going to be talking about Mr. Delta here did serve in special what?
Naval Special Warfare for a number of years for a foreign national company country. Sorry, not company. Well, it's kind of a company too. Company, same thing. For a foreign government for a number of years.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about his civilian life. We're going to be talking about pre-enlistment. We're going to be talking about enlistment, some war stories, and then we're also going to be touching on what it's like after the service and going back into civilian life and all the challenges that come with that. So, welcome to the show again, and let's start off with. Let's start off with your childhood. Like, where are you from? You can share as much information as you want to, but if you want to tell people like kind of where you grew up and like how you grew up and like, because I know you've been all over. So
yeah, no, I've definitely lived in a number of different countries, different cities, different states, both here in the U.S. and abroad in Europe. So I was born and raised in the Southwest Coast, towards the Bay Area, San Diego, Oceanside kind of area. Was not a huge fan of the lifestyle of California. I'm a very kind of, if it works, don't fix it kind of guy. And with that, California is, comedian once said, everyone in California is just a bitch on a donut run. I want a bigger car and a bigger house. Smaller girlfriend with bigger titties. Like, it's very much like that in California, and especially where I was raised in Southern California right there. The average median income is $750,000 a year. It's a very, very much the ultimate fucking donut run, and was not a fan of the lifestyle. I lived there until I was about 5. Ended up moving to Germany with my mother and my stepfather at the time. Grew up in a very volatile household, very, very violent, very volatile household. Most of it. Props to my mother. It's not her fault. I don't blame her for it at all. For a long time in my childhood, I did, but I was immature to not see that she was busy trying to provide for a family when her husband could not. Excuse me. And with that, he was very addicted to substances of certain natures that alter moods for not so much the best. Massive alcoholic, very bipolar, borderline schizophrenic as well, which was quite ironic because my grandmother, if I can even call her that, everyone always says blood's thicker than water. I say nay, fuck that. But she was manic depressive, schizophrenic, bipolar, which just made for a lovely cocktail of fucking psychopathic just tendencies in the household. So both my mother and I grew up in very interesting households. Her father was Italian, built most of Orange County, ironically enough.
everyone's from fucking Orange County.
Everyone's from fucking Orange County. Everyone's from fucking Orange County. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's absolutely the way it is. But he built most of Orange County, very successful man. Unfortunately passed away of a heart attack before I was born. But stories that my mom tells me. Amazing, amazing guy. Also a massive alcoholic, but a better parent for her than her mother ever was. She was pretty much raised by her live-in nanny and housekeeper. Amazing, amazing woman. She was Andorran, so she was raised at a very young age, a lot like me, in a foreign household. I was born and raised most of my life in Germany. Love it to death. I miss it every day. But things change. Your mindset changes. Your requirements for life, they always evolve over time. And for me, eventually ended up making my way back to the States a couple of times. 2000 and I think it was 2008, 2007. I ended up making my way back to the States, living in North Carolina, living in Georgia, Ohio, good couple of places. The volatile household continued until 2011, and my mother decided to finally kick the shitbag in the nuts and throw him out. Of course, that was only after he kicked in the front door to the house that we were living in at the time, threw a bottle of wine at me, proceeded to beat the shit out of me for 2 hours straight, and then hop in his Porsche and drive drunk around town for a good 45 minutes before.
Was this in the States?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And before coming back to the house and then proceeding to pretty much start the cycle all over again. Threw an iPhone at me. This was my favorite part about this whole night was he came back, threw an iPhone at me, missed me by, a pubic hair of an inch, and got lodged in a wall. And I'm not talking like these new ones of like, you remember the memes when the iPhones came out and like you could bend them and stuff? No.
Yeah.
These were like these were like the iPhone 4s where it had that like titanium lining on the outside that these fuckers would reach like Mach 5 Jesus speed when you throw them and shit. But he threw one at me and it lodged itself in the wall. And I turned around and looked at him and he was just staring at me going, "One day you'll understand." And I'm like, one day I'll understand what a fucking psycho you are. Holy shit. Yeah. But growing up in a household like that and having that for a quote-unquote parental figure gave me a very, very good insight of the type of individual I never wanted to be in life. Ever wanted to be in life.
So what was that like growing up in that environment? How do you think that messed with your head growing up? Because now, it's different. But as someone who is going through that right now in this day and age, or you know what I mean, like present time, how did that make you feel, and like how did you deal with that?
I found outlets in the strangest of places. The really generic ones, like fucking Facebook and Instagram and shit like that. Well, Instagram wasn't really a thing at the time. It was just kicking off. Yeah. Snapchat was still a fucking daydream in some 17-year-old kid's head, probably. But I found outlets in the most generic places. Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, actually, massively got into street art and graffiti. By the time I was 15, I was hopping train yard fences and going and painting trains with a bunch of friends of mine in Germany. That was a massive outlet for mine. And sports. I ended up becoming a very, very successful football player. Sorry for my American listeners. Soccer. Gotta throw it in there when I can. But no, I ended up becoming a very successful soccer player. I was a goalkeeper, played varsity for my high school team before I left the States the last time. And I was a freshman, which was unheard of. I mean, most high school listeners they'll know what I'm talking about. For a freshman to be on a varsity soccer team competing with guys who are about to graduate on their senior years to go to college, getting scholarship offers to Ohio State University, UGA, Texas A&M, Michigan State. I mean, my first year I was getting scholarship offers from all these universities and stuff, and I was just trying to survive day to day in my house. I wasn't thinking about 3-4 years down the road graduating from high school, and it was not even a blip in my mind at all. But I found outlets in the simplest of places, online stuff, video games. Got massively into video games at a very young age. Loved them. It was a way for me to take everything that I hated about reality and to focus my mind somewhere else and become something that could conquer dragons. Because let's face it, we all love Skyrim. We all want to be a badass in a horned helmet, killing dragons and being being fucking Viking Superman.
It's an escape in a way, and I still battle with whether it's a healthy escape or not. But I mean, I played games as a kid too, and like whenever if I wasn't hanging out with my friends and I was playing video games, that's when I was happy. Because I didn't want to deal with the problems, or I didn't really know how to, because they're ongoing problems, right? So, so you essentially found healthy outlets to get away from that and just take it day by day, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I tried to find the healthiest outlets that I could. Being raised in an environment like that, and you'll know what I'm talking about, is forces you to grow up very quickly. You have to grow up very quickly. You mature a lot faster than the people around you, which makes it extremely hard to make friends because you're trying to survive day to day in your own life, and they're worried about, Stacy doesn't like me at school. It's all about, this guy doesn't like me, this girl, this, these people don't like me. And then these people, by the time you're 18, you're mentally pushing 28. And these other individuals that were in that mindset of, high school, and they're all fucking weird about it and shit, they're mentally their actual age, and they will never mature beyond that for a very long time until something very pivotal happens in their life. And it's a huge thing, and it was a huge issue for me to make friends in school. I was a total outcast. I played sports, I did what I could, but I was a total outcast. I openly admit that.
Yeah, I know a few people like that who have not mentally aged still to this day. But
We love those people, don't we?
we fucking love them, all right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I covered in my episode that like I did have a good childhood, but there were things that did still fuck with me psychologically, I guess, and mentally. But I would say I had the privilege of like not really having to worry about much as a kid. It was in my young adult life when everything started getting really bad. Well, for the most part, I didn't cover this in the first episode, but like I'll make a whole episode about like me doing my suicide attempts, because when I actually think about it, it dates back like a long time ago. I think I almost did it when I was 11 or some shit. But again, I'll cover that in a different topic, or a different episode, whatever. But but yeah, it is part of that. What was something you would say to someone who is going through an abusive relationship with their parents right now? Let's say whether you're 9 years old, whether you're 17 years old, because I feel like it only gets harder the older you get and you're still living with your parents. But what would you say to them? How would you tell them to get through it? How would you tell them to cope with it? What advice would you give?
Honestly, and it varies from person to person, and that's the hardest part. There's no end all be all. Here's the correct answer.
No, not at all.
And that's the hardest part.
From your experiences.
From my experience it's so much easier now for even our age, that it was so much easier for us to find outlets in really, really obtuse places, so to say, whether it be video games or online stuff, or just going out and just trying to find something to do, whether it be sports, or you're 16 and you're able to go for a little nighttime drive before curfew, after curfew, state to state, it depends obviously, but trying to find healthy outlets, having that conscious awareness, for lack of a better term, that self-awareness to be able to understand what is a healthy and what is an unhealthy outlet for trying to escape the reality around you.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, is because everyone's going to be different. They're all going to some are going to want to do this, some are going to want to do B, some are going to want to do C. It's always going to be different, but I think the ultimate answer to that is trying to find the healthiest outlet. What helps you the most? What is the healthiest for your mindset that isn't extremely toxic, at the same time destroying the few relationships that you do have that you value around you? That's a huge thing. I mean, there's people that I grew up with, that the few that did know the household and what I grew up around and how I grew up, that I valued those relationships to the utmost, and those are my family. That's my family right there. Yeah. And I'm still friends with those people to this day. My best friend, she ended up enlisting in the U.S. Navy. She's now pushing for her senior chief, and she's been in the Navy less than 10 years. She is a savage individual, absolute beast of an individual. But she is also one of the smartest, one of the most positive thinking people, and she helped me through a lot of the stuff that I went through. She was a huge inspiration for me to want to push to be good for myself and want to be good for the people around me. And that's what I mean of finding a positive outlet that isn't going to create toxicity for yourself and the relationships around you. Find that healthy outlet for yourself that is not going to destroy the few bridges you have. Don't burn bridges you can't afford.
Don't be friends with those people who are going to tear you apart rather than build you back up.
Exactly. Don't make friends in the wrong places because they have that silver tongue of, hey man, like, hey, let's hang out sometimes. You want to drink a couple beers? You want to smoke a little weed? Don't go down that path. I saw those people that went down that path when I was in middle school because they were loners as well. They were going through their own stuff, and in turn, they coped with it. Exactly, they coped with it with very unhealthy outlets and stuff like that. And in turn, those people are still stuck in the same place that they were 10 years ago. They're still stuck in middle school, mentally, very much so. And it's so unhealthy. Don't become those people that you despise.
Yeah, that's a good
The epitome of failure.
Yeah, that's a good piece for of all ages, especially if you're a teenager or a young adult, or even if you're a full-grown ass adult. That's good to do because that's a problem I see in people of all ages. They have these shitty friends, and they always say, "Oh, I have such shitty friends." Stop.
Then why do you have them? If you know they're shitty, then why do you have them?
Because they get stuck in that thing and they don't want to end it, and it's something that's hard. Losing friends is a very hard part of life. I had a friend I was friends with since the first grade, and we didn't talk for a few years because he transferred to a new school. Well, we reconnected in I think the fifth or sixth grade. Sixth or seventh, somewhere around middle school, essentially. We reconnected, and then we saw each other all the time, became best friends again, and I mean, dude, we went through so much together, and up until recently, I'm 23 now. We don't talk anymore. I was supposed to be his best man whenever he got married, and not only did he get married, I wasn't invited. He didn't tell me nothing. I even texted him. I texted him that I almost died. I was like, hey man, I legit almost died recently. I just want to talk. I want to catch up.
I can't remember you telling me about this actually.
Yeah, and
didn't even reach back out.
No, he didn't reply. Yeah,
those are definitely the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah, but it is part of life, and so he never did anything wrong. That's the hardest part. It's not he was a shitty friend. He was a fucking amazing friend. He was my best friend. But now we don't talk anymore. And I don't know if we will for a very long time. I have no idea. But
I had a very similar experience with it was a very, very pivotal moment in my life. And some people in some circumstances will understand what I mean by this. I grew up with two best friends of mine living in Georgia. For the very short 2 years that I was there, they were brothers to me. Like, I would walk through hell for them, even at such a young age, because I had to mature so quickly. I took friendships extremely seriously, and I took those relationships very seriously. And so I had two best friends, Logan and Tony. Logan is now a drug addict, addicted to heroin and methamphetamines, who works part-time in a car shop, who had aspirations of joining the Army and being a 11 X-ray, which is an Army Ranger. Very high aspirations. His dad is a combat medic and a combat nurse for the Army. Very, very well-educated family. And he went down the wrong path because, unfortunately, he found an unhealthy outlet because he had a massive weight problem when he was in middle school. And because
he was a big kid.
He's a big kid. I mean, he was like 5'10" in the 5th grade at like 220. Hims was a big old boy. Big old hymns was a thickums.
That's actually an episode I'm gonna do about too. Like I wasn't, the most I got was the 216, but I did lose a lot of weight, so I do want to cover that because me being the biggest me was like one of the most depressed me versus me now. I won 188. I am like, I feel so much better now. But again, we'll say that for another episode.
But he had a lot of weight issues, and his mom was a bigger lady, so and they all ate very unhealthy. It wasn't really his fault. It was just his mom from a very young age was just shoving Coca-Colas and cheeseburgers down his throat. Yep. Never. I swear to God, I don't think this boy tasted a salad his whole damn life. But which I don't blame him for. I fuck green stuff. I like meat. If it bleeds, I'll eat it. But
I like meat salads. Steak salad.
Steak salad. Yeah, that shit's bomb. But but he ended up becoming very good friends with another kid who was named Tony Riviera. And so Logan found a very unhealthy outlet to kind of surround himself by people who kind of didn't really look at his weight. They just saw him as a really big dude. And with that, he found a niche, and he found friends in the gangs. In the gangs in Georgia, especially where I lived in Georgia, they were very, very predominant. A lot of Latin gangs, a lot of African American gangs, a lot of Asian gangs. And he found those friends that he couldn't get otherwise. Yeah. Air quotes, insert here, friends, of course. But unfortunately, Tony had a growth issue. He was, by the 7th grade, he was very small. Very small. Sorry. He was maybe 5'4", maybe 5'3", at like maybe 90 pounds dripping wet. He was a very tiny kid.
That's it. I was 4'9" the end of my 7th grade year.
Very small kid. Very small kid. And then, I mean, you have to remember this is the South. Like, these motherfuckers down here are on biscuits and gravy on a daily basis. Like, these motherfuckers, they built different. Yeah. They got that Alabama Roll Tide defensive end like a motherfucker down here. Yeah. So, so with that, Tony ended up getting kind of mixed up with him as well. And Tony came from a home life of a mother who was never there, father who he never knew who he was. Mother was in and out of jail for possession of narcotics and stuff. And he was raised by his grandma, who was also here by herself. The grandfather had already passed. And his sister, his younger sister, Kim. Amazing girl who unfortunately walked the same path as her mother.
So they all ended up on like drugs or something.
Tony got involved in the gangs to protect himself because the school he went to a charter school. And I mean, it was metal detectors and security guards, armed security guards walking the hallways because it was dangerous at this school. Luckily, I never had to go because this was, I met him when I was in the 5th grade. And then we separated schools after the 6th grade because they had redone the county lines for the school district and stuff like that. Yeah. He kind of found out what the gang life was about, knew that's not what he wanted. He had very high aspirations for himself. He knew he wanted a good life, not like his mother's, because he saw where she came from and who she became, and he didn't want to be like that. And with that, he tried to get out of the gangs, and they shot and killed him for it.
They shot and killed Tony?
Yeah. There's two main ways you get out of a gang. You either die or you eventually just get too old and they just kind of push you off to the side. But you're always there. Yeah. Still pulling weight for them when they call because you're never really out. And they found out he wanted out and they shot and killed him in front of his sister and his grandmother. And that was a very, very hard moment for me because it took a long time for me not to blame Logan. And a deep down, a part of me still kind of does blame him because it was Logan who introduced him to all these people.
Logan was the big boy, right, who first got into the gangs, and he kind of brought Tony into that gang life as well.
And the gangs more so just kind of had Logan around as just a joke because he was funny. I'll admit it to this day. Logan was the class clown. He was fucking hilarious. That was why him and I ended up becoming friends because I was a total class clown too. I was an okay student. I was pretty decent, but I was a total comedian. I was always cracking jokes, hanging out, doing dumb shit that I probably shouldn't have been doing. But Logan was 10 times worse. And he was around the gangs just having fun, shooting the shit, thinking he was funny, thinking he was gangster, playing GTA San Andreas with him. Fucking thinking that he's hot shit gangster. Real life Al Pacino. And they just kind of pushed him off. And they're like, oh yeah, shut up, Whittle. Like, shut up, little white boy. Even though they were like half his size. But they just kind of brushed him off, and then Tony got gaffled up into it, unfortunately, and he ended up losing his life over it. And there's not a day that goes by I don't blame Tony for that. I don't blame him at all. And it took me a long time to not blame Logan for pushing Tony into that avenue, because it was Logan that introduced him to all these people. So with that, the major point that I'm trying to make here is careful who your friends are, because you never know what path you may unconsciously start to walk, and you may never even know it.
100%. You have to be keen on seeing red flags from an early state or even from a late state. I'll give another example of a bad friend I had, and I'll give a great example of a great friend I have. Another bad one was me and this kid. We grew up in the same neighborhood together, and he was the same age as me, yeah. And basically, we were friends for years. We kind of grew up together. And for some reason, all of a sudden, he just decided to start texting me really nasty shit. He started saying that he was much taller than me, and he's a little bigger than me. And he knew karate, so I guess he thought he was better than me. Or something. I don't know.
Karate never wins, bro. Karate never wins.
We were in like fucking middle school or some shit, so I don't know. For 4th grade to 6th grade, so I guess it was a few years of us being friends. But he started texting me that I was weak and that I was a hypocrite and all these things. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? And he just like started just like dogging on me and like for no reason. And it killed me. Like legit, it made me fucking break down and start crying because all this shit he started saying to me. So we pretty much just stopped talking after that, and it ruined the whole little neighborhood friend dynamic all of us had. There was like what? It's me, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 of us growing up in the same neighborhood, and but it kind of ruined the whole dynamic because he just decided to start dogging on me, and I still really don't know why. I mean, we were kids. So me and him definitely don't talk anymore. I've seen him a few times after that, but not a whole lot.
Imagine why.
Yeah, shocker, right? So, like, obviously, if I had an unhealthy mindset, I would have gone back to him, like, oh, maybe we could still be friends or something, or like, I don't want to lose his friendship, which would have been the easy path, but I chose the hard one, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we're not friends anymore, and that was really rough. So you have to be very keen on those red flags. Do not be friends with people who tear you down like that. And that was just verbal abuse. I'm talking about friends that want to get you into really messed up shit. Like if you smoke weed, you smoke weed, whatever. Like weed's not a huge deal, but that if you hang out with a friend who smokes weed, they can get into other things too. And even if they don't smoke weed, they can lead you down. Let's say you have a friend who wants to drink all the time, and like you just want to party, have a good time. Like, okay, yeah, hell yeah. And you go out and you party, and you're partying out every fucking weekend. And then it gets to the point it gets to the point where they want to get you shit-faced all the time. That's how you end up being an alcoholic, and that's how you end up dying at a very young age. So you have to be keen on that, because you might not be aware that they're becoming an alcoholic and they're dragging you down with them, because they don't even know it either. It's just part of those things. You have to be very keen on that.
There was a friend of mine, I'll touch on that real quick, of just like how quickly people can change. Yes. Like very quickly they can change just from something so simple. I had a very, very close friend of mine that I was friends with for a very long time, since I was 16 all the way up until I was almost 20, like 2021. I think I was 21 when we I just kind of like told her, I'm like, hey, I can't be friends with you anymore. This is ridiculous. Yeah. She was a friend of mine from the States that I'd met before I left. And she had a horrible childhood. I will openly admit that. She had a horrible childhood, but she coped with the wrong outlets. And last time I spoke to her in 2017, 2018, I think it was, I want to say it was 2017. She was telling me, we were texting back and forth, just chilling on Snapchat and stuff. And she tells me, oh yeah, I'm like going to hang out with some girlfriends of mine. We're going to do an acid cleanse. And I'm like, no, that's the kind of toxic mindset of people that I don't want in my life. And unfortunately I had to tell her very quickly. And there was other stuff that went on there between her and I, but it was very fascinating to me on a psychological standpoint of that coping mechanism that she found and how unhealthy it was when there were so many other options for her to go and find healthier outlets. She got massively into photography and she was very happy about it. And then something happened and she stopped doing it. And then she started getting into more unhealthy habits.
I feel like I should have said this at the beginning, but just for a quick keynote, one, we are not experts about drugs or anything. Like, look, if you're going to do what you're going to do, and we are not sitting here and judging anyone who does that, but what we're speaking of is from experience, from our real life situations. I've had friends do the exact same thing. So look, if you are listening and you do psychedelics or anything like this, we're not judging you at all. It is strictly off of what we've experienced and from our stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're no professionals or anything. This is just two real people talking about real life and what has happened.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually a really good point to make. I was going to say something about that, but you beat me to it, fucker.
It's all every episode like that.
Yeah, like, hey, we're not here to judge you, but like, what the fuck, dude? Drink some water. Drink water. Fucking water. No, but I mean, I'm no expert on drugs, despite
tell that she did doing that.
Yeah.
Unhealthily coping.
Yeah, no, and she was very open about it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I tried crystal for the first time the other day, and I'm like, whoa. Jesus. Yeah, crystal meth. Yeah. Crystal methamphetamines. Don't do crystal. That shit fucks up your teeth. If you have nice teeth, don't do crystal meth.
It's bad for your brain.
Yeah. And there's another half to it too. There's two halves. You can spare one. But
Stick to weed, please.
yeah. No, I mean I have loads of friends who smoke up on the regular, and they're ironically enough, some of the most intellectual motherfuckers I know.
I've also met some really dumbass fucking potheads too.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
It depends on the person, but yeah.
So quick little side story right there. So a local little like corner shop I used to go to all the time in Germany, that was right around the corner from my apartment. It was literally on the back side of the building. It was called Schutzens. It was a totally bomb ass little place. You can get a big ass German beer in a bottle for like 89 cents. It's awesome. It was totally good beer. 89
cents.
Yeah, Sturmberg. Oh, that shit was awesome. I miss it. I miss that beer. Yeah, Genozel. But one of the guys who worked in it, his name was Jonathan, which for my English speakers, that's Jonathan. Yeah, that's German Jonathan right there is Jonathan. But yeah, Jonathan. But Jona. Everyone used to call him Jona. But I had too much fun saying his name in German, so I always used to call him Jonathan. Jonathan. But yeah. But he was absolutely the biggest pothead I've ever met in my life. And he was hell-bent convinced that you could move to America for free. He wanted to move to LA and like be a traveling salesman for like his books and stuff, which I read one of them and I think I've seen better short stories written by third graders. Not even going to lie. I think this is the most judgmental I will ever get on this podcast, but this guy was a fucking moron.
Was he smoking lace shit?
Probably. In all fairness, I think, yeah. little Jeffrey, little angel dust in there, a little cocaine, just the whole barrel. But no, he was without a doubt the biggest fucking dumbass I've ever met. He was convinced that like politicians and shit like that were like eating the souls of babies. and shit like that in Germany, and that like Hitler was still alive, like hiding out in a bunker in Berlin, like giving orders.
That actually is a conspiracy theory, but he didn't go to Berlin. He went to
Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina.
Yeah. In all fairness, there's actually a shit ton of Nazis in Argentina still.
Yeah, there's like a little island, like legit. I think Joe Rogan talked about this. Yeah, there's a small little island, and there's still fucking Germans there.
There's an actual like massive Nazi following in Argentina. Well, not massive. I'll say there is one there, but it's not massive. I mean I mean, not to call out my people or anything like that, but this ain't 1939. But as a military man, I have a very dark sense of humor. I'll warn you. Like, there will be moments where I make jokes about stuff that people like. So later on in either this episode or another episode, I will talk about my combat injury that put me out of the military, and I have a very, very dark sense of humor about it, and it makes most of my friends and my mother very uncomfortable when I joke about it. Apparently 1,200-pound IEDs aren't healthy.
No. let's take a small smoke break real quick, and then we'll come back. All right, welcome back. Sorry, I had to take a little fucking smoke break. Ate a cheeseburger, took a piss.
A little cheeseburger and some nicotine and a little side of the fucking drain. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we've covered kind of childhood and all that stuff, and let's get into enlistment. What made you want to join?
So pretty strange upbringing on the other side, like kind of touching a small bit again on the childhood. So my mother worked for a national government organization that we're not going to say because she'd probably beat my ass. And after 7 rotations, she's the only person I'm still fucking scared of, including snakes. But we're not going to talk about that. And Afghani spiders. Then we're not going to talk about that either. Those things are fucking evil, dude. They'll mug you for your wallet and steal your car.
Afghani spiders?
Yeah, bro. Camel spiders. They get
spiders,
they get like the size of my fist and they hiss, dude.
Aren't those in Australia too?
I don't know. They might be. I actually don't know.
Aussie spiders.
In all fairness, Australia gets like demonic fucking spiders, bro. They get some pretty intense shit down there.
Instead of robbing you.
Yeah, no, they'll call you a cunt while they rob you. Yeah, but so grew up fairly involved and around the military. Living in Southern California, there's a huge military presence out there. I mean, Camp Pendleton is fucking massive. Huge Marine Corps base right there. Plus we have...
No, I almost went there, but I didn't.
Oof. Embrace the suck, bro. Embrace the suck. But, and then right there we have Coronado, which as those who are keen on the military, they know that's where all the SEAL training is done. You want to be a Navy SEAL, that's where you go. And also just a massive Navy port right there. Huge Navy port for the U.S. Navy there. But growing up around that, I always had a very deep respect for it, and I loved the culture that went with it. But the kicker for me and the pivotal moment of my life of when I knew that was not what I wanted to do, but what I needed to do for myself. I can name multiple moments in my life of under the age of 18, just laying in bed, just freaking myself out and psyching myself out of like, if I don't do this, I will never be able to live with myself. In September of 2001, I was on a work trip with my mom in Lower Manhattan. And as most of the world knows, and it's making me feel really old, that actually there are people who are graduating high school right now that they weren't even alive at the time. Yep. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. It very much came from that joke of like, fuck, man, our grandkids will be reading about this in textbooks, kind of shit. And that's exactly what's happening right now. They're learning about it in school because they were not alive at the time, and if they were no more than a couple months or maybe a couple years old. And they
I
were
think I
not
was
there.
2 years old. I don't remember anything from that, but
I was 5.
I remember being like 4 years old and hearing about it, and I'm like, what?
When the fuck did that
Like,
happen?
yeah, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
9/11. I'm like, huh?
But I was in Lower Manhattan when the second plane struck. Ironically enough, my mom was actually supposed to be at the Pentagon that week, but she got sent to New York instead.
You kidding?
To a certain office that was in the very, very near vicinity of the Twin Towers. I lost 2 uncles that were huge influences in my life. One was police special forces. He was police special operations for another foreign nation. I got a very international, eclectic family. But this was, for the record, the side of the family that I actually fucking liked. And unfortunately, most of them are dead now. So that kind of fucking sucks, because the family that I actually despised, they're all still alive and tormenting me, which we love that. And they're all in California, so fuck California. Another reason for me to leave, along with the forest fires. But being in Lower Manhattan, and then a couple days later, finding out that my 2 uncles that were huge influences and people who I admired and sought guidance and leadership from, finding out that they had been killed.
Were they in the towers, or you said he was police special forces? So was he like aiding on it?
No, he was. They were there on business.
Oh, okay. So they were in the towers when they got hit and everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Something like the middle. I don't know. I don't exactly know where. I was still pretty young, and the details are still very unknown to me.
Yeah.
And my family. A lot of the details are unknown. We just know that they never made it home. But that really struck a nerve. And at that time, I was a weird kid, man. I was obsessed with the news, like, period, obsessed with the news. And then seeing that happen just engulfed it 20 times more, of just being obsessed with world news, politics, geopolitical issues and stuff like that. And it just sparked an interest in me that branched off more into, well, what are people doing about this? Somebody killed thousands of people. What are we doing to fix it? How are we correcting it? And with that, I branched off and started looking into the military very heavily from a very young age. I mean, I was like 8 or 9, and I was like studying military history of some of the greatest battles known to man, the First Great War and stuff like that, all the way back to Napoleon and Constantinople, all the way up to that time period right there. I remember the last time I was kind of looking into it before the GWOT and everything kicked off, which was Global War on Terror, for people who don't know what the GWOT is.
Yeah.
Desert Storm and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It was a huge fascination and passion of mine was military history. So kind of coming full circle to it, ended up leaving the States and moving back to Europe in 2011. I was 15 at the time. And shortly after, when I was able to, and the timing was right, and I was physically fit and mentally ready to do what I needed to do, I had knocked out 4 years of university in Germany in 2 years. I had crammed it all into 2 years. Got my degree in military science and military history.
What gave you that drive to do that? What was the mindset you had that, like, I can cram 4 years of university into 2 years? So there's a lot of people who want to do that, but they lack the motivation.
That's a tough one, in all fairness, just because
That's something I still struggle with.
I mean,
today,
living
is
in
motivation.
a college town here, we know what that's like, of people constantly just complaining. School's so hard. School's so hard. No, it's
Yeah.
not. No, it's not. The problem is that people are so stuck in high school. This is recess. This is time to make friends and get absolutely fucking plastered every day of the week or every weekend.
Yeah.
You can take everything you have. If you cut out like 50 to even bare minimum like 25% of the shit that you just kind of don't really have to do, of like going out partying, going and doing dumb shit with your friends. Granted, there is nothing wrong with having fun.
Yeah.
There was times during my schooling where, oh, dude, all I wanted to do was just go get fucking hammered every once in a while. Because holy shit, it was exhausting.
Yes.
But if you take like 25% of that and just be like, I don't really need to do that.
No.
I mean, for your mental sake, yeah, you absolutely need to have that downtime every once in a while, because that's a lot of weight over a very long amount of time that is weighing on your shoulders. But there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize that they can cut out to make life so much easier for themselves and their own success. And people don't take that into accountability of so-and-so asks me to come out and get hammered all weekend. That's 72 hours to 48 hours you could use doing something better to succeed and get a leg up on life.
Yeah.
And part of it is, you could blame that on like 20 different things at once. Education system, bad parenting, bad self-discipline, bad teaching of self-discipline, because
Bad friends.
Bad fucking friends. Fucking friends. Absolutely. Now, for me, it was just the drive to want to constantly succeed and better myself to the ultimate ability.
100%.
It was a drive to want to do the utmost and always win and succeed in all standards. Not meet the bar, but to set a bar for myself that was 25% higher than where the bar was at all times. Famous boxer, he doesn't say 24/7. He says 25/8, because you have time to make that extra day count. You cut out that 25%, you got an extra day that other guy didn't have. There's an extra hour in the day always for you to try and do something.
Okay, that's interesting.
While people are sleeping, you're succeeding.
Yeah.
You get 8 hours of sleep, that accounts to a lot of fucking time lost. You could be... I'm not... All right, now bear with me here for a second. I'm not saying you need to be getting like 3-4 hours of sleep every night.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I'm on that routine right now because just...
It's all about balancing and keeping
but
a good schedule of, like,
Yeah.
succeeding. You don't, get your fucking sleep. But, like, if you're sleeping all day every day and not doing shit... And I get into that habit sometimes too. Like,
absolutely.
I don't work till 4 p.m., so I'll sleep until 3 p.m., and I'll stay up all night or whatever. But, very soon I'm going to start getting onto a better schedule. And, like, me and you were training. And we're about to heavily start getting to training, like, more and more and, all that stuff. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. No, but it's very much a manage your time. Man, and this is kind of my bit of advice for people who are in university right now. Evaluate how many hours there are in a day. What can you do with those hours? How can you maximize every hour of that day to succeed at all times?
For people who are struggling in university or college, like I did, I actually dropped out of college. But like quick story, I grew up with ADHD and dyslexia. And so, it does play a huge part in education. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means, I actually have to try. I can't, just succeed with ease when it comes to schooling like a lot of kids can. It is more of a challenge for me, but I can do it. I've done it. I graduated high school, dude. I got all A's and B's my senior year because of years and years of me slacking. They told me my senior year, they said, dude, if you fail one more class, you're not going to graduate. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay, fine. So, yeah, I actually started trying. I got all A's and B's.
It's funny how that happens. Like you hear people. I mean, I hear people complain. Like I'll be walking through the mall or something like that, going to fucking H&M or like picking up a pair of shoes or some shit.
Yeah.
Or just walking around to kill time because you're probably still asleep. But but I'll be doing something out, whether I'm downtown or I'm at the mall or if I'm standing in line at fucking Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And people will be complaining like, "Oh my god, like in school, it's just so hard. It's so hard." And they're complaining. So in the military, we have a phrase: the more time you spent complaining, the more time you wasted, and the less time you have to do the thing now.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Yeah. Don't complain about it. Just go do it. The faster you go do it. I mean, not to quote Shia LaFucking-Buff, but like, just fucking do it. Like, no, in all fairness, no, he's absolutely right. I mean, he's borderline fucking crazy. Very interesting individual, but very fucking insane.
Yeah.
But no, he's right. Just go do it. Just go fucking do the thing.
When because of my high school experience and, always struggling with school and then finally just having to try, I was going up to college, because I did not get in the military. And I think I covered that in the first episode. I'll have to re-listen to it, but whatever. So I was like, okay, I didn't get in the military, so now I got to do college, right? And I was not looking forward to it at all. I actually still hated it, but I still did it. I dropped out, but whenever I was into it, what got me through that semester of college was creating a routine and doing exactly what you're saying. Is literally my classes, I only had like 3 classes a day. So I got out at like 10 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon. But then with the rest of my day, what I would do is I'd go home, take my dog out on a little walk, and then I would focus on whatever project or homework I had to do. I would get it done. Then I'd eat, hang out for a little bit, and then go to work. You create a routine. Now, it varies for every person. Because for me, doing that routine for a few months drove me fucking insane.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again. We're expecting a different result. But getting that routine down is massive.
How you get
you will see a massive change in your life and the output of your success.
Yes.
And how efficient you are in your day-to-day stuff if you just create a fucking simple routine.
And that shit is temporary. You do that until you get through uni, until you get through college, to get that job you're wanting to get or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, 100%. Create that routine, get through it, because everything is temporary. Nothing is forever.
There's a good speech from somebody that I liked. I was listening to a motivational podcast. God, this was years ago, 2016, I think it was. I was listening to this speech on YouTube. I think it was. I don't even think it was a podcast. I think it was a YouTube video on motivational speaking. And this guy said, all pain is temporary. It may last for a minute. It may last for an hour, a day, a week, a month, or a year. But eventually that pain will subside and success will take its place. And that goes for anyone, whether you're 15 years old and you're struggling in your home life, or you're struggling in school, or your relationship, or if you're 20 and you're struggling to narrow down that routine in college, or trying to say you decided not to go to college, which there's nothing wrong with that. In all fairness, I almost didn't go to college. If I didn't get free university in Germany, I probably wouldn't even fucking gone, because I don't want to be in debt for the next 30 years of my life.
Yeah, that's a whole
fucking U.S. education system. Hint, hint. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter whether you're 20, 15, or you're fucking 30, or you have 2 kids and you're pushing your mid 40s and you're having a midlife crisis because you're freaking out because fucking COVID and shit, and you lost your fucking job. Yeah, no, it sucks. Absolutely. I lost my job during the lockdown and everything. I lost my job and I was freaking the fuck out. But you know what? I fucking pushed through it.
Yeah.
I tried my best. And there were moments where I was like, fuck this shit. This fucking sucks. Like, really fucking bad. And I just kept pushing. The moment you stop pushing is the moment you give up on everything. And
it gets so much worse from
it becomes worse.
Yeah.
You have to constantly just keep your head down and just ram through brick wall after brick wall after brick wall that life decides to throw at us.
And you will finally, at some point, depending on what your problem is, you will push that past that final brick wall, and you get a little bit of freedom.
You get that success.
Doesn't mean you're not going to hit another brick wall in the near future or the far future, but I mean, that's what you live for. You live for those opportunities and those good moments in life.
Absolutely. There was sorry, I keep quoting other inspirational people because I'm not that inspirational myself, but kind of a shitbag in all fairness.
Nah,
but Admiral McCraven gave he was a Navy SEAL commander for a long time. Absolute beast of a dude too. Awesome fucking dude. Very, very, very intelligent dude. Unfortunately, was a cake eater. He was an officer. We don't like that, but it is what it is. Cake eater is as cake eater does. But he made an interesting point of, if you want to change the world and you want to change your life, start off every day by making your bed. You make your bed every day, you've accomplished the first small task of the day. You go on with your day. You may have a horrible fucking day, but you come back home at the end of the day, and you come home to a bed that is made, something you did, and that reaffirms that tomorrow could possibly be a better day. You wake up the next day, you make your bed again, because the principle that teaches is, if you can't do the little things in life, you will never be able to do the big things in life.
100%.
And that is the hardest part that I see around me, that hurts me for the people around me, that they haven't quite grasped that concept yet of doing the little things and doing them right. So that way when they get to the big top shelf shit storm of fucking life type shit, that they can fucking do it. And they have the confidence and the self-encouragement to go and execute those things and just fucking crush them. Just balls to the wall, head ram, fucking Tyshawn Lynch that shit, and just fucking go and just crush the day and just fucking, I don't know, just
get it,
do it,
get it, son.
Like, just go get that shit,
go get it.
Yeah.
So we got a little off topic, but that was all great.
Yeah, we got massively off topic there.
We did talk about why you got in the military, so let's get into kind of the heavier stuff, and let's talk about
the fucking teams.
Let's talk about your teams. Let's talk about what it was like, your experiences in the military, and then we can get into what it was like after. But let's start off with, well, let's talk about the good first, and then let's talk about the bad. So,
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, man. That was a great fucking movie.
Absolutely. But
so
you got in the military because you grew up around a military family, and your two uncles died in 9/11, and so that motivated the fuck out of you to be like I need to go serve and do all that. So now you're in. What'd that look like?
So I'll admit, and all my teammates always made fun of me for this because I was a total believer. I thought I could change the fucking world. Like, no, I did. I totally, and I still believed it. To the day I got out, I was like, fuck yeah, I changed that shit. Like, I made a fucking difference.
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, what the fuck was that?
Maybe you made an impact on the individual lives rather than the entire universe.
Don't fucking ruin it for me, asshole. No. But no, so joined up in I joined the Navy, because obviously Naval Special Warfare. Joined the Navy in foreign Navy, just to reiterate, not U.S. Navy. I'm not that awesome. I didn't go and end up being some Navy SEAL type shit and stuff. But our training was very similar, ironically enough. Joined up in 2017. Graduated with recommendations. I was honor man in my recruit class and stuff like that. Loved it. Ended up getting selected and getting the right commendations and recommendations and stuff from my command. I knew what I wanted to do the second I joined the Navy. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to be a basic sailor. I mean, no disrespect to like your basic seamanships and stuff like that, and your basic sailors. Awesome fucking dudes. They're squared away. But I just, hitting that simplistic bar and then stopping there wasn't enough for me. I needed to, like I said, set the standard that was 25% above it. And ended up going to selection. about 150, 160 dudes. And by the end of the 10-month selection process, there were only 5 of us standing.
Oh my
god! And 3 of them
out of 100,
out of 150 to 160 people. I actually don't remember how many it was because we lost like 20 the first day. Because I mean, in all fairness, like the first 48 hours just sucks worse than your work. Like
that sounds like damn Navy SEALs.
Oh, dude, it was awful. Yeah. It sucked so bad. Even for me, like I look back on it and I'm like, holy fuck, how'd you do that? Like, what the fuck?
Foreign Navy buds.
Foreign Navy buds. It's F buds.
F buds.
F in the buds. F in the buds. F in the buds. Foreign Navy buds. But Funda buds. But now by the end of it, after 10 months, there was only 5 of us left standing, and it was me and 2 of my best friends that I went through basic with. Awesome fucking dudes. Love them to death. Still check up on them every once in a while. They're still in the teams. They're still active duty, so I'm not going to reference their names or anything like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
But no, just awesome group of dudes. Got selected to a team, ended up on a boat crew, doing my thing in my own team. Started off at 6 man in the team. There's only 6 spots in a team because it was a really small Navy. but no, I loved it. Loved the pure aggression, the raw adrenaline. I mean, they talk about driving cars and jumping out of planes and fucking cliff diving and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. You
do cliff diving?
Nothing compares to a fucking gunfight. Like, people will think I'm purely psychotic for that. But, dude, nothing will ever compare to that. There is nothing more primal than that moment of it's you and 5 other dudes sitting in a fucking shithole, like, just fighting. Just, like, pure Roman, like, legionary type shit. Like, dude, it's awesome. It was so much fun. I loved it. It was awesome. But did 7 back-to-back rotations. In the midst of that, there was a pretty lady. Pretty
lady.
The what?
The pretty lady.
Well, at the moment, I thought she was the pretty lady, but she. I had been seeing someone for a good long time, and joined the Navy. She was in university, and we made it work for a very long time. Wasn't until my I think it was my 3rd or 4th rotation at the time, my 3rd or 4th tour, that it got really, really nasty very quickly. The struggles started to show of why 90+% of team relationships do not succeed. I mean, you have to think about it. We're gone 10 months out of the year most of the time, randomly getting spun up for no reason of like, hey, you got to go hit this target, or hey, we got a target package on this, you need to come in and talk about it, or hey, you need to go on this field training exercise, this fucking FTX, like on a moment's notice at all times. And it sucks. It sucks. Those were the moments that really hit home for me because I was a very family oriented person, and still very much kind of am. Always there for my brothers, for my friends, whatever the pretty lady is at the time. Like it sucks. It's hard. And one thing kind of led to another. Got a phone call from her dad. It's like, hey, you can come check on this. And I was literally off the boat for not even like 10 minutes. Went to my cage, locked up all my stuff. I was still in my boots and my uniform and stuff. And flew over because she was in university out of country. Met her while she was on vacation with her ex-boyfriend, who I knocked the fuck out because he's a piece of shit. And pretty much walked into the house and found out she had been cheating on me for 6 months. We were engaged. It was hard. It was another one of those very pivotal moments for my life that a lot changed. And
this girl you were in a long-term relationship, right, with this girl?
4.5 years.
4.5 years, and you were deployed overseas or somewhere, not in the same country as her.
No.
She was cheating on you with her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, who used to beat on her and cheat on her. Yeah, no, I know how to pick them, bro. I know how to pick them. You and I have had this conversation. I know how to pick them, bro. I go top shelf shitty. Yeah. Oh yeah, every time. Or I guess bottom shelf, I guess, but
top bottom shelf.
Yeah, top bottom shelf, like it's $1.99 a shot, not like top shelf like quality shit where it's like $60 a shot. Yeah. No. I go bottom tier rubbing alcohol.
Below Wells.
Yeah, yeah. I go like bottom tier rubbing alcohol. Like I go for that Walgreens rubbing alcohol of relationships.
Was that one called Everclear?
Oh god. Oh god. Fucking Everclear.
Below Everclear?
Yeah, way below Everclear. Way below Everclear. Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, we're talking like Russian distilled, like potato vodka in an outhouse in the Urals in the middle of fucking nowhere, kind of shitty. Yeah.
So, your long-term girlfriend cheated on you, and you're deployed and everything, risking your life. How did that make you feel?
Made me feel like I was a failure. In all fairness, there was a moment that had kind of built up to that. We were sitting in the car on the slip, about to step off for a sea rotation to go get the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I had lost a team guy about 3 months before that, and it was a hard month. He was a pretty big deal in the community. He wasn't part of my team, but he was a sister team that we had worked very closely with, and he was an awesome dude. Born and bred operator from day one. Like I think this dude came out the womb with like frog foot, like MPGs and an M4. Like he was a beast, just absolute beast of a dude. And she couldn't wrap her head around why I kept doing it. Why do I keep operating? What's the end game here? Why do I do it? What's the point?
Did you ever tell her why?
Yeah, I tried to explain it to her. That's the hard part for military people is we try to explain the mindset. And sometimes, I mean, for a good long time, I can't explain it. I was like,
yeah,
hey, why'd you do that? No, I'm a fucking idiot. I like punishment. No,
yeah,
I like doing a lot of push-ups. Like, so I tried my best to explain it to her, and it just kind of came full circle to the last conversation that we had before I went off for that rotation was, well, fuck you. You can come back in a pine box for all I care.
She said that?
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Oh, dude, top bottom shelf Everclear right there. Rubbing alcohol, bro.
Some horrible Everclear.
Yeah, that's some good. Well, that's Everclear for you, but yeah. But that was definitely the moment where it just kind of really kicked off in my head of like, hey, this isn't working. This relationship really is struggling right now, and I threw my whole weight into it because for me, it's either everything or nothing at all.
Yeah.
Either I'm giving 125% or I'm not giving it at all because there's no point. I'm not going to push an immovable object and expect it to move. It's not how life works. No. But after she left me, / kind of left her, it bothered me. I fell into very bad habits. A lot like my family had. I turned to the bottle and threw myself into pretty much a 4-month drinking bender of, hope to God none of my fucking commanders ever listen to this, but I pretty much would wake up, knock off a 6-pack of beer in the shower while I'm getting ready for work.
Jesus.
And I'd be driving to the base and crossing over the bridge, and I'm knocking back another beer, throwing them on my passenger seat over my blouse, so that way the MPs can't see them when I'm going through the gate. Pull up to the head shed and get my bottle of Listerine going, and then walk into work, try and knock out my duties, and on my lunch break, I'm going to the bar. And I'm coming back, and I'm fucked up. I'm going out on rotations, and I'm sneaking bottles of vodka and fucking Listerine bottles on rotation with me. And I turned into a total piece of shit. I was the weakest link on my team. And in all fairness, I hate myself for it now. That's something I very much struggle with now, is the effect she had on me made me feel very weak, very vulnerable. And in return, I made everyone around me very weak and very vulnerable because I wasn't at my performance level where I should have been. At that tier of where we're operating and the shit we do, I had no fucking right to ever do that because I could have gotten people fucking killed.
100%. Was this before or after she cheated on you?
This was after.
This is after she cheated on you?
Yeah, this is after.
So did you turn to the bottle because of what she said or because of what she did?
It was kind of the culmination of everything. It was just utter pain.
Yeah.
Utter pain
so
and the
at this
feel
point, you guys
of
were
failure.
done. Like, you guys have already broken up. And this is what you turned to after y'all breaking up, was becoming a raging alcoholic and everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm still the nicest fucking drunk. Like, I'm a total goofy dude. Apparently, I was just a lot goofier than usual, and that's how they fucking noticed. Because it's my team guys. We go out. I mean, your first 3 months in the teams is every time you do something new or whatever, you mouth off to someone for the wrong reason. You either get taped up, which means you get the shit beat out of you, or case of beer. Oh, first time doing that. Case of beer. 6-pack. Hey, I bet you a 6-pack you can't do that. Yeah, fuck you. I bet you a 12-pack I can't do that. Because it's the community. It's just we're always trying to one-up each other.
Yeah.
Because you take a group of alpha males and you stick them in a room. Yeah, that's not going to end well.
No.
It's going to end with a lot of somebody owing the other person a lot of 6-packs of beer.
So how did you pull yourself out of that?
Pivotal moment. That's going to be the name of this episode. It's just me going pivotal moment. My commander, my team leader walked up to me. Sorry, not my commander, but my team leader walked up to me. He was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No idea what you're talking about. You want a beer?" I got some in my car. But he just kind of stopped me and was like, taking a moment to appreciate that one. But he kind of stopped me and he was like, "What the fuck is going on with you?" Obviously, I didn't ask him if he wanted a beer because that would have been very bad. That would have been very bad. I would have been doing galley fucking I would have been on galley work for like the next rest of my career. But no, I told him, I was like, "Dude, I'm struggling." He's like, I'm like, "Dude, I'm drowning over here." I was like, "I am hardcore drowning right now." And he's like, "Yeah, we can fucking tell." He's like, "Yeah, we know. Fix your shit." And he kind of gave me a swift kick in the ass with a size 13 fucking boot. Mm-hmm. Pretty much told me, he's like, "Hey, here's how this is going to work. You either clean up your fucking act and you're good to go within the next 72 hours. I'll give you 72 hours. That's it. If you can't clean your shit up by 72 hours, he's like, I'm revoking your operator status and I'm kicking you out of the community, pretty much. And you'll get sent to a normal ship with Big Navy." Oh. Bro, my asshole snapped shut at Mach 3 speed, like F-16 zooming by at like 30 feet away. Like, shit got tight real quick. I was like, "Oh boy."
So how did so you had a what's it called?
An episode?
No, not an episode. Like, what's it called? Fucking. I speak English my whole life. I'm so bad at speaking English.
Me too. You
had a big motivation to get your shit together because you had everything on the line, right? So, but what did you do, like, mentally? How did you fix that? Even if you stopped drinking, how did you mentally start dealing with that when you couldn't turn to the bottle?
So, for me, it was any picture, any piece of clothing. I literally went through my phone. I took about 2 hours, went through my entire phone, took every photo, every voice recording, because we used WhatsApp all the time to talk. So we had just voice recordings back and forth. And I mean, I can't count how many times that I was literally just sitting in my rack on the ships, or if I was at home in the team house, and I'd just be chilling out with a bottle of fucking vodka in my hand. Well, actually, most of the time it was whiskey because that's my depression drink, but that's why I don't touch whiskey anymore, is because I know it makes me sad. Brown liquors make me sad. I turn into a total savvy piece of shit. I start crying for no reason. It's like I just watched fucking Titanic. And, oh my God, they're all dying. But, like, I can't count the amount of times where I'd just be literally sitting in bed with a bottle of whiskey just listening to voice recordings because I miss the sound of her voice. Like, I was a total savvy piece of shit about it. I was a hopeless fucking romantic, and she ruined it. But but I went through my phone, took every voice recording, photo, video, all the photos and videos, and stuck them on a fucking SD card and literally went and put it in my safe with all of like my documents and like my passports and all that shit. Stuck them in there. Dumped out every bottle of fucking liquor I had in my consumption, in my reach, with the exception of like 2 really nice like 120 euro like bottle of vodkas that were like birthday presents, and like a bottle of whiskey that I had that was like 180 euro that I bought as like a present for myself when I graduated. And I handed them to one of my buddies who was my best friend, who still has them to this day. I told him he could just have them actually because I didn't want them. Gave them to him as a parting gift. He was actually drinking one just this Saturday for his daughter's birthday. He poured out a glass of whiskey for his daughter. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. But ended up giving those to him, dumped out every bottle of rubbing alcohol, vodka, fucking potato, fucking whiskey, gin, rye, whatever the fuck I had, beer. I dumped it all out. In all fairness, the team guys actually got mad at me for dumping out all the beer. They were like, fuck, dude, we could have drank that.
So it came down to a moment where you're like, okay, it's enough is enough.
Yeah.
I need to stop this now. Poured out all the liquor, deleted all the photos, all the videos, all the voice messaging, and just at that point start moving on.
Yeah. I knew if I didn't kick my ass into high gear, I mean, most of the time you can take a relationship like that is 3+ years, 4+ years, 10+ years. You're going to want to take your time to grieve over that, because that's like something dying. I mean, that's a huge part of yourself that you have dedicated to another individual, and vice versa, that she's dedicated to you or he's dedicated to you, whatever it may be. That, I mean, that's huge. And yeah. I had to kick it into high gear very quickly of like, fuck, I have a very limited amount of time to try and cope with this and find a way to cope with it very quickly. And my way of coping with it was I signed up for every deployment I could as quickly as possible every time they popped up.
For me, I was in a relationship for about 4 years, almost married, all that stuff. It took me about a year to finally get over it, an entire year. A little over, actually, because even after a little over a year, I was like still having thoughts of her, and I was like, fine. And I tried coping by, I was talking to a new female, and I was going to try to work on her, like help her with her issues. And
can I point out really quick, what is it with us trying to fix people?
I fucking care about people.
Because we're just big sappy bastards.
Yeah. So I was gonna try to jump into a relationship with her, like not jump into a relationship, but like start dating to distract myself, essentially. Ironically, my ex, who I broke up with, the 4-year one, she did the exact same thing, except she actually did jump into a new relationship. But me and this girl actually didn't end up getting a relationship or anything. Like nothing actually happened, which I'm kind of glad because we're still really good friends. So essentially, I was alone by myself for about a year. I didn't date anybody. I didn't go on dates. I didn't talk to other females. I mean, I talked to like maybe a few, but nothing went anywhere. It was about a year until I dated someone again. But yeah, there's just a certain moment. The first few months were horrible. Like I was constantly depressed, a wee bit suicidal, and
been there. I had those thoughts too. Yeah. I felt very alone. I mean, your team guys are there for operations. They're not there for personal fucking relationship therapy, because we don't. So
you got enough of your own shit going on.
Yeah, we got enough of our own shit going on. I mean, a lot of the guys, they have families, they have wives, kids. And
exactly. They don't want to hear about some youngin' who.
I was the youngest guy on the team.
Yeah.
I was hella young. I mean, I was a fresh, like, baby face 20.
Oh fuck.
Like, yeah. Oh dude, it was
they
bad.
Sure as shit didn't want to hear about your girl
they
problems.
so did not want to hear about that shit. I mean, my team leader, he understood. He was a little bit of a younger guy too. He was younger. He was in his late 20s. So he was a younger dude, but born operator too. Like from the womb, the night vision and the fucking M4 from the womb, dude. Total beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they don't want to hear about that shit.
No.
I mean,
it takes time to recover and heal from that.
Yeah.
Like it's not a permanent thing. And I'm gonna have an episode actually with my stepdad, and he's gonna be talking about the divorce with him and my mom, because they were married for 10 years. And so yeah, so we'll get into that and how he dealt with that, because that's a whole different ballpark. But from a relationship standpoint from a younger person, especially if you're in fucking high school, don't trip over females. Every time I talk to a kid who's like 16 or whatever, and he's like, man, I literally just talked to this kid the other day, and he's like, man, I've had a crush on this girl for 2 years, which is exactly what I had. But, you know, the girl I almost married, I had a crush on her for 2 years before we started dating.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, I said, just fucking go for it. And I was like, look, if she says no, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't.
It's not the end of the world.
No.
The world keeps moving and the speeding train keeps going.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad the girl I was crushing on for 2 years said yeah. But, again, we dated for 4 years. We broke up twice. You know, so there are a lot of great aspects of it and a lot of hard mental ones. But
young relationships like that, oh man, they're amazing teachers.
Yeah, you learn what I try to tell everybody even to this day is that date casually and learn from every relationship. Learn from it. Do not trip over it. I even recorded a small session I'll probably upload before this one or after this one, whenever. And I'm talking about relationships. And I tell about what just recently happened with me and the girl I was talking to. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. I know about that one.
Yeah. And even though nothing like really happened, it still fucked with me. And now I'm okay. But, you know, I learned from it. So, learned from all of that. But
I learned a huge amount from that relationship between her and my ex-fiance. It was huge of who I thought I wanted to be with.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing is perfect in life. There's no such thing as perfection. Perfection is unfathomable to the human brain because we don't know what its limits are. We don't know what perfection is because we've never actually achieved it. We have an idea of what we individually think is perfection and what we want in life, but I learned massively in that relationship of who I want in a relationship and what I want out of a relationship. And for her, it was very hard because I learned massively that I don't have the best communication skills. But there was also the flip side to it where she wanted me to talk about, hey, how'd you feel after coming home from that deployment after you did about 78 fucking raids on like known terrorist linked ships and you found fucking stockpiles of human fucking like trafficking and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
That's a whole different subject when it comes to communication versus civilian life versus military life. Yeah.
But because it would wake me up in cold sweats and I'm shaking and I'm like, she tried to wake me up and I'm still like this. If somebody tries to wake me up when I'm having a night terror, I'm coming up swinging. My dad learned that lesson pretty quick, actually, from childhood stuff. He tried to wake me up. And this was actually a really funny story, too, because it was pretty funny. Tried to wake me up as a kid. I didn't know my dad until I was 16, for the listeners, in case I left that part out. I didn't know my dad until I was 16 when I moved back to Germany in 2011. Yeah. It was the first time I met him. Awesome dude. Love this guy to death. For the longest time, I called him by his first name because I didn't feel comfortable calling him Dad. It wasn't until actually just this past year that I finally, like, for the first time, I was on FaceTime with him, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad," and this motherfucker starts crying, like a total fucking weenie. Starts crying. It was great. It was super funny. Yeah. But he tried to wake me up, and I came up and totally, like, I was laid on my left side, and he was behind me and like shook my back a little bit. And he was like, "Hey, wake up." And I came back and just hammer fisted him in the back of the fit, like in the side of the head, and just sent him reeling up against the closet door. And he was like, "What the fuck? Why'd you do that? Why did you do this? What the fuck?" And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why would you wake me up like that? Don't wake me up. Just poke me and then take 6 feet back. Yeah. And that's still a huge issue I have. My mom knows better. Like if she's over at the house and she tries to wake me up.
Don't poke the sleeping bear.
Yeah, don't poke the sleeping bear. Yeah. And that's a huge issue I struggle with relationships right now because of childhood stuff and then also the military. I have a constant fear that because of my own trauma and my own... Dude, I'm like something that you ordered off Wish. I'm fucking broken. Like right out the box, I'm fucking broken, bro. So, and I'll admit that, but like I don't fucking tell people that because it's fucking weird. You don't fucking tell people that. Like, when you're first getting to know them, you tell them, hey, oh, yeah, I'm a little fucked up. But, like, you don't tell them, like, oh, dude, I'm so fucking broken. Like, you don't tell people that. So that's a huge issue I struggle with. And that was an issue I began to struggle with when we were dating still when I joined the military. It was bad when I was still a civilian. And then it just kind of, like, just total ping-ponged. Like, hardcore ping-ponged. Like, 10 times harder. Like, Olympic fucking ping pong table, like, insanity of trying to deal with. It's not always about what you do. It's about what you hear and see. And for me, it was about what I saw a lot of the times. Not so I can compartmentalize and psychoanalyze it for myself of what I had to do for those operations, and that's not the part that bothers me. Those aren't the parts that bothered me. It's the shit that I had to see that I had no control over. Those are the ones that bothered me. And those are the ones that kept me awake at night, or when I did try to sleep, and when I could sleep, that would create some very interesting moments in the bedroom. And not so much for the fun parts.
Yeah.
I mean, we had those too, but.
So, yeah. Let's talk about, after military, like, PTSD. We don't have to get into your accident or.
Yeah, we'll save that one for.
We'll save it for another episode.
For part 2.
But, let's talk about you getting out of the military and struggling with PTSD and going back into civilian life.
Yeah, no, that's a huge part. So there was it's perfect. 'Cause I was literally just talking about this with you yesterday that I'd come across an amazing quote.
Yeah.
Of once more quoting the inspirational people because I'm a fucking idiot.
Shut up.
Oh, dude, I am. You should know it by now. I'm a fucking idiot.
Shut the fuck up. You inspire me in different ways than you don't think. Don't fucking rag yourself.
Yeah. But 99% of the population is civilized. The people who decide to do the job like I did and walk the path that operators do in tier 1 and tier 2 assets in the military, special forces, special operations, stuff like that. We are the uncivilized. We're the outcasts. We're most of the time the weirdos in school and shit like that. Getting out of the military, you kind of are trying to return to the civilized world. Because you can no longer be that uncivilized individual. Because apparently society frowns upon that. Fucking assholes. But, I mean, people get all overhyped about it every fucking Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Like, oh yeah, go veterans. But 364 days out of the year, 363 other days a year, they don't want shit to do with us.
No, it's a huge problem we have in America with taking care of our homeless veterans and everything.
Yeah, in all fairness, that's across the world.
Veteran suicide rates up to 40%, something like that.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty extremely fucking bad.
What a lot of people don't realize actually is a lot of that is they're Vietnam vets.
Yeah,
they're Vietnam vets. Not a lot of people think
fucking
that.
Drafted.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking away from the account of the GWAT and stuff like that, of the global war on terror, of the amount of U.S. veterans, German, Italian, Polish.
It's still a huge problem.
Fucking British soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines that have suffered mentally very, very heavily and physically of trying to reacclimate to civilian life and not being able to do it. It's very hard. It sucks.
So what was that like for you?
For me, it was absolutely fucking terrifying. I was terrified. I joined when I was 19, 20. I mean, I was a fresh 20 when I joined. And here's me on fucking crutches, hopped up on painkillers and shit, and a lot of fucking like top shelf drugs, because I was in a fuck ton of pain.
Yeah. This is after your accident.
Yeah, this is after my accident.
Yeah.
Which we'll touch on another time. But I'm hobbling up to S1 which is like the administrative, like it's command pretty much, where all the paperwork is coming in and out of. And I'm walking up to S1, and I just have this overwhelming fear to walk into this office, because I know this is the end. This is the official end right here, where I had planned to do 25 years in the Navy and eventually go be an instructor and stuff like that, teaching the new kids on the block the old tricks that they don't know about. And I was just overwhelmed with this sense of anxiousness and paranoia and fear of, holy fuck, what am I going to do next? I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Like, because I had no plan of like, oh yeah, no, I'm getting out. I'll start lining something up like 6 months out of me getting out and stuff like that. No. This all happened within a matter of like 30 to 60 days. Like, it was very quick. It was very, they were like, oh bro, you got to get the fuck out. Like, you got to go, dog, type shit. Like, this wasn't the US where it's like, hey, we'll get you VA assistance, all this shit. Like, I got shafted hard by my country and by the country I was serving for, and I hold a lot of grudges about that one, but we'll leave that one alone because that's just not worth the topic. But that's politics I don't get into. That's the type of politics I won't get into. But I remember walking into that office and just sitting at this desk, just high out of my mind on Oxycontin, and just trying to keep it together. And I drool on this fucking piece of paper while I signed it. Like, not gonna lie, I was fucked up. And my swim buddy was there, who was my best friend, who I graduated through basic with, and then went through selection with, and graduated with him. He ended up getting posted to the same team. He was the homie, like he was the brother, and he was there with me, and he's holding my head up with my drool rag, like trying to keep me from fucking spitting on those things. Yeah. And in all fairness, it wasn't really that bad. Like, I'm just fucking around. I'm just having a dark sense of humor about it. But I signed out the papers and stuff, and I'm walking back to the cages to clean out my cage of all my stuff, and I'm pulling photos down. I'm pulling down my flags. I'm turning in my weapons. The fucking supply guys are there breathing down my neck like, hey, did you give me this? Hey, did you give me that? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. I'm about to rack around in this M4 and blow your damn head off. You don't stop fucking talking to me like that. Holy shit. And I just remember being overwhelmed with this feeling of anger and just fear simultaneously. And it was, for the first time in a very, very long time, I was scared to life again, for lack of a better term. Like, just to life, pretty much. Yeah. To adult, pretty much. Because I was stepping into a world that I had not seen in almost 5 years. I had no idea.
You were saying earlier that, like, you're leaving that civilian life, and it's like it gets put on pause.
Yeah, no,
you
absolutely.
Start living that military life, and then you come back to civilian life. It just, it's unpaused again, but it flash forwards 5 years.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's like,
you get guys that are
changed.
Yeah, I mean, you get guys that are joining in at like 17, 18 years old. They've not had that time to like fully adult yet before stepping into it. Yeah. I had the upside of, like, I went to college. I ran 2 businesses and had my own, like, had a job and shit like that. I worked for a beer company. I ran 2 family businesses, was a bartender. Like, I was a coach. I played soccer professionally. Like,
you lived a little bit of life.
Yeah, I had a little bit of life there before stepping into the community and stuff like that, and before operating. So I had that small leg up. But there was a lot of guys that I know that just did not have that. Most of them American service members. Just because in the country that I was in, it was very uncommon for someone to be like, oh, I want to go to the military. Like, it was unheard of. Yeah. But it was very hard. Yeah. Cause I was stepping off from the perspective of, I was leaving civilian life. Oh yeah, I got my degree. I've had a couple of jobs. I've earned my bones in this world, blah, blah, blah. And then I joined the military and then did the fun part. Got my operator on, got my frogman on, went and did some shit, and then here I'm getting out, and I'm like,
what the fuck do I do now?
I'm not even that same guy anymore.
Yeah.
No like, kidding. I thought I earned my bones before. Oh, bro. I'm like Eminem in a fucking music video. I got skeletons in my closet type bones in this world. Like, it was a whole different fucking level. So with that, it was very, very humbling moment of like, oh shit, this is happening. Like, oh fuck, like this is it. My career's over. And it was just overwhelming feeling of just pain and anger and pure frustration. Very pure frustration.
What was the first thing you did when you got back?
When I got back from where?
Military. So were you still in Europe or did you come back to the U.S.?
So I did a little bit of my my physical therapy, my PT and stuff in Europe. I did about
when you cleaned out your locker and everything, you were still in Europe.
May, June, July. About 3 months. I had gotten done and did about 3 months of physical therapy, and then decided to move back to the States when I was able to actually walk again.
Oh, okay. So how did you, real quick, how did you get through, how was your mental health during all that physical therapy and on the road to recovery, and how did you deal with it?
So it was really hard because before, like, going into the military, I can see the goal I'm trying to achieve, and I'm moving towards that goal, and I see the greater aspect to it and stuff like that. I see the big picture, pretty much. And then getting out of the military, I'm like, fuck, what's my mission now? What, be able to fucking walk again? Like, so I can work some dead-end, shitty-ass job 9 to 5 wearing a fucking suit and tie?
Yeah.
I came from fucking operator community where we're, like, sporting fucking beards and shit, packing dips and just cussing and talking about fucking and doing dumb shit. And, like, just being retards. Like, we are government weaponized autism with a gun. Like, is the best way to put it. But we're like the smartest dumb motherfuckers you'll ever meet. Yeah. Like, it's great. But I went from having a mission to accomplish of like, okay, I need to get to the teams, and then I need to like go change the fucking world. And then I'm getting out of the teams and I'm leaving and I'm like, well, fuck, what do I do now? Go work some bullshit dead end job? Like, what? So I can suck some dude's dick for a fucking promotion? Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want that. No, it's not the life I want. That's not the life I ever wanted.
That's like my biggest fear. Even still now.
Oh, dude, still my biggest fear. Absolutely. Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah, still can't fathom it, like, at all. No. A friend of mine, she offered me a job to come work in her dentist's office as a receptionist. And I'm like,
fuck no.
How much you paying me? She's like $23 an hour. And I'm like, nope.
It's still not enough.
Nope, still not enough. And I'm like, fuck no. I look back on it now and I'm like, fuck, I should have taken that job. That would have been really good money.
Yeah.
Could have gotten all those fucking car parts for my new car. Shit. But, got that new optic for my Hellcat. But, no, it was my biggest fear of like, fuck, what do I do now? And then that was just really cemented of, okay, what's the fucking end goal here? What am I working towards with this physical therapy other than not being in a wheelchair for the rest of my life? Like, what's the end goal here? And still to this day, I mean, it's June 14th? June 13th.
13th, yeah.
It was 2 years ago to the mark, May 31st, that I got blown up. And yeah, happy fucking birthday. But
it was on your birthday?
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
Did you not know that? I thought you knew that. Oh shit. Yeah, no, it was on my birthday. Yeah. Yeah, happy fucking birthday, right?
You got hit by an IED on your fucking birthday?
Yeah. So to add to that, you'll fucking love this. You'll fucking love this. So
it's on your birthday.
The day before that operation, we were hitting another target.
Yeah.
And we're hitting this target, and it is a known shitbag, like fucking utopia. And one of my guys looks at me, and he goes, hey, congratulations, you're gonna get blown the fuck up today in this shithole of a country. And then the next day I get fucking blown up. Like, it was just the icing on the fucking cake of irony right there. It was fucking great.
Ironically, I actually do want to die on my birthday because I want to die on the day I came into the earth. I want to, leave the earth on the same day. But yeah. That's like later on in life I would like to do that. But
I freaked out. Somebody was asking me the other day, and they're like, They were trying to get all intellectual with me, and they're like, "How do you want to die?" And I just immediately knew. I'm like, hail of gunfire, stomach filled with Skittles and vodka, covered in the blood of my enemies.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Wait, what?" Like I so nonchalantly said it so quickly, and like so just like, "Hey, this is what I want." And he's just like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me either. Sorry. Kind of comes with the territory of the way my brain works. But yeah, coming full circle, it was just trying to find that end goal. And still is a very hard part, but I made it through my recovery. I did what I did when I was going through selection. That was I put myself in the mindset of going back through selection. Okay, I woke up. Let's make it a breakfast. Okay, I made it a breakfast. Let's make it a lunch. All right, I made it to lunch. Let's make it a dinner. All right, dinner.
Step by step.
I need to make it to breakfast tomorrow. Go to sleep for a couple of hours. Have a pillow fight with myself because I'm a fucking spaz. And then go get breakfast and then do it all over again. And I just did that day after day after day. The routine. Yep. Structure that routine. I mean, I when I was in the service still, I would wake up every day at 4:30 in the morning, go for a 3-kilometer run. If my hips were feeling up to it, my knees were feeling up to it and weren't screaming at me in foreign languages, then I'd do 5. But most of the time I'd get up and do at least a 2.5 mile run every day. And then go to the gym, weightlift for an hour, go to the base, shower, shave, the whole 9 yards, and change in my uniform, knock out my daily duties for the day, and then do whatever I had to do, clock out, and go to the fucking gym again, and then probably go get fucked up with the boys. Yeah. Have a couple of beers.
So it's about that road to recovery. It's just about focusing on, step by step and just pushing through it.
Yeah.
Again.
I heard that phrase again in my head of all pain is temporary.
Mm.
But eventually it will subside and success will take its place. And I just focused heavily on that, very heavily on it, of like, all right, fucking end goal. This is just what I need right now. This is what I need. I need to get better for myself. I can't get better for myself until I fix this injuries. But because, oh, dude, I go all out. When I get fucked up, I go all out. But yeah, finished my PT and everything after 6 months. Doctors told me I'd be lucky if I could run again without being in pain. They were kind of right. I run all the time now, and I feel generally okay.
That's good shit.
Other than the fact that I'm a smoker and I got total smoker's lungs, but
that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever.
Let's talk about constant state of paranoia. And this is something me and you both struggle with, even though I'll get into mine later, but ours are 2 different types of paranoia, I would like to assume. So, why and how?
So, definitely why is just years of dealing with heavily armed assholes. Is the best way to put it, really. Yeah. Just years of constantly being on edge all the time, not knowing if, like, oh, hey, today's the day.
Could kick off at any second.
Fun while it lasted. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like, type shit.
Yeah.
And other parts of it is, dude, we live in a shitty fucking world. People are fucking assholes for no fucking reason. It's like every other week there's a fucking active shooter this, active shooter that. Oh, some fucking dickhead blew up an AT&T building in Nashville this. Fucking some fucking asshole decided to park a fucking van in Times Square and make an asshole of himself and try to blow off a bomb, but he's just a fucking idiot and didn't. Fuck that guy. But active shooters in fucking California, active shooters in fucking Florida, shooting up nightclubs and shit. Fuck those people. Fuck those people. But I also personal experiences of people walking up on me with knives. Even before I joined the military, I had 3 fucking dudes. I was walking home from a club in Germany, and 3 dudes walked up on me and pulled a fucking knife on me. And I mean, I've been boxing since I was 8 or 9. Amazing self-discipline tool right there. You guys want to learn some self-discipline? Go fucking box. You will learn some shit about yourself. You will build a routine just off of boxing. That is an amazing fucking sport for your mind, especially, because it is not a game of fucking just 1, 2, punch. No. This is a game of fucking chess, and you will learn some shit about yourself of what you can achieve in life, just from simple as boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu.
I do want to get into Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, dude, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is fucking badass. Like, I did Krav Maga, and I did boxing, and I did kickboxing. Oh, dude, fuck no would I ever fight a guy who knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'd rather take a knife to a gunfight. Fuck that. Hell no. Dude, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters scare the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I heard it's, like, really good, but it's also really good for yourself, like, mentally and physically.
Oh, yeah, no, it's an amazing discipline teacher.
Yeah.
An amazing teacher. Oh, yeah.
But, so, how do you deal with the constant paranoia?
I seek control in all aspects of my life. If friends of mine want to go somewhere and I'm not feeling particularly peachy about it, I drive. So that way I know if shit gets weird, I can just leave. Just remove myself from the equation.
Yeah. Leads back to don't have shitty friends.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you'll end up in a scenario that is just you, and you accidentally put yourself in a really weird situation.
Yeah, that's why I don't particularly like writing with people. It's like literally that when well, we know a certain individual that we both dated.
Yeah, so boy. We really don't talk about that.
No, yeah. But there are certain instances where like something would happen at that particular person's house, and I would drive there myself, and so I could leave at any point I wanted to.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well,
there are times where I was like, yeah, okay, I'm leaving.
Well, it's not like she...
That's off the record.
Yeah, we're gonna strike that from the record. That's a breach of classification of files right there.
I was gonna censor it.
That's classified. Yeah.
I know. So this is uncensored, but now it's getting censored. Okay.
Yeah.
But
that's a huge part of it.
Finding means of control, essentially.
Finding means of control.
What do you do if you're not in control of a situation?
I leave the situation. I remove myself from the equation.
Let's say, for example, teenagers go to a party, and there's drinking and there's a lot of drugs, and they're like, oh, this is neat, and then things start getting weird. People start fighting. People start
are we talking like orgies or
no?
Oh, okay.
Most teenagers would love that. But
they wouldn't know what the fuck to do at an orgy.
No,
Thomas, what do we do?
I mean more like they become, let's just say they get really uncomfortable. But they don't have their license, or they don't have a car, or they didn't drive there. How could you remove yourself from that situation? I mean, you could get an Uber or something if you even have money at that young of an age. But like, even for like young adults, like, what is the best way to remove yourself from those kind of situations?
So there's a lot of options you have there. Mm-hmm. In all fairness, you could, and this is person to person basis. Obviously,
yeah,
this is everyone's going to be different. You have a car, you know, and you go talk to your friends. You have to have that bluntness and that openness to call out a situation when you see it.
Yep.
Never be afraid to speak your mind on something that's fucked up.
Yep.
That
you gotta have those rock solid friends. Like if you go to that party and people start busting out cocaine, and you do not want to do that, and everyone's pressuring you to do it.
Yeah.
You gotta go to your friend like, dude, I'm not cool.
This
here.
place is fucking. This is
out.
A shitty situation. We need to fucking leave. Like, this is not our scene. Like, and you also need to be that anchor for your friends as well, who are struggling themselves.
Absolutely.
To come up to them and be like, hey, bro, this isn't you. Like, we need to go. Like, this isn't you. This isn't us. Like, be your friend's guidance as well, not just have them be yours. Like, friendship and guidance is a two-way street.
Around this time last year, I was actually in that situation. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
There's a guy I knew. He's a coke dealer, and I forgot he was a coke dealer.
Yeah, ended up at the house. Yeah.
There was a girl who wanted to sleep with me very bad, who I brought with me.
Fucking stud.
But okay, so we go to the apartment, and I forget this dude's a fucking coke dealer, and I walk in, I'm chilling. I've only smoked weed I think like 4 times. I haven't done any other drugs. It's just not for me. My family comes from a line of addicts and alcoholics. Everyone on my mom's side is dead because of alcohol and or drugs. So for drink, I do drink, but I have a very strict drinking rule. I've told you about that, and I'll say it, on the recording. That is, I don't drink to feel better. I drink to feel even better, which basically means don't drink when you're sad and don't drink to escape anything. Because once you do that, that's when you do become an alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean that was a huge part for me. I mean, touching back on that 3-4 month period after she left, where I delved deep into some fucking hatred for myself and some hatred for just situation around. I was drinking to escape, to just feel numb.
Exactly.
And that was a huge, that's a great fucking point, dude. Like, don't drink when you're fucking sad, because you will destroy yourself.
You'll become reliant and dependent on it, and that's how people become alcoholics. Yeah. It just happens. It happens to anyone. Anyway, so we go. So I just never done drugs because I'm afraid to get hooked on them, and I'm afraid it's gonna ruin my life. Every person's different. Someone in my family, I won't say who it is, but someone in my family got onto cocaine, and he was pretty hooked onto it, and got off of it, thank God. But it just happens anyway. So we get this apartment. I walk in, and there's some people there. We're all hanging out. I was like, damn, that was a crazy night. I look to my right, look into the kitchen. I see a square glass mirror and lines cut up already. And I was like, oh, right. I forgot.
It's that kind of party.
Yeah. I was like, oh, fuck. I forgot who I'm with. He's a fucking coke dealer. Because I knew he was. I just never seen him do it.
Who called up Charlie Sheen? Shit.
Yeah, literally. And so the girl I took with me, she starts throwing back shots, starts snorting up lines, just going off her fucking ruckers, dude, like crazy. And I stayed for 2 drinks. I didn't have any cocaine. He was actually really cool about it. I will give him this. He never even asked me if I wanted cocaine, nor did he ever pressure me into trying cocaine. He was like, the way he did it was like, if people come to my house, they're allowed to have it if they want. It's like, it's just up for grabs.
Party favor.
Yeah, literally.
Party favor. Yeah.
I will give him that. He didn't pressure me, didn't offer nothing. He's just like, if I would have asked him, he would have been like, yeah, no problem, go for it. But he never pressured me or anything. So I stayed for 2 drinks, and then I removed myself from the situation. The girl wanted to come home with me. She's like, oh, she was fucked up. She's like, oh, let me come back to your place. And I was like,
hell no.
No, this is where it comes in, where you have to stand up for yourself, whether you are a girl or a guy or whatever. I don't know what's, whatever you identify as. And no hate there, but she's like, let me come home with you. And I was like, no. I was like, look, I'll take you home to your house, but you're not coming back to my house. And she's like, why? And I literally didn't know what to say, so I just said, it's just not how my mom raised me.
That's fucking brilliant. What a great fucking answer, dude.
And she just sat there and she went, well, yeah, okay, I get that. And then she's like, okay, I'm just going to stay here then. I was like, have fun doing more blow. And I fucking left.
That's fucking great.
But
no, I've been in that situation a couple of times of like, you show up at a house or like you're out with some friends and some weird shit's happening in the bathroom and you're just like, oh, gotta go, dog. Gotta fucking go. You're up there just chilling out like it's American Idol. It's going to be a no for me, dog. I mean, I told you that story about, I was over at a buddy of mine's house when I was in the team still. And this was after my fiance. And we're all hanging out and these 2 just utter fucking scumbags come in. And he pulls out of a fucking little man satchel, little fucking Indiana Jones purse. And he pulls out a fucking big ass baggie of fucking snow. And starts lining it up on this glass table that my buddy had in his apartment.
You told me this. Yeah.
And I mean, we're all in like jeans and t-shirts and like just.
This is when you were still in the service.
Yeah, this is still when I was in the teams.
So that's a
And
big no.
Oh yeah, big no. If we're ever caught around that shit, even if we don't even we didn't even know it was there,
you're fucked.
We are fucked. That's
and here comes this guy. He's like,
that's our career done right there.
Got some fucking angel dust.
Yeah, I got the fucking blow, mate. Yeah, no, dude, that's fucking it for us right there. We're donezo's. I mean, that's our trident's gone.
Yep.
We're
so
done.
He comes in, starts laying out coke.
Starts laying out coke, and I look at my buddy, who looks like a skinny, fucking malnutrition version of Odell Beckham Jr. Haircut and all, dude. Like, it was funny as shit. We used to call him Odell. And I look at him and I'm like, hey, bro. I was like, either you tell him to fucking leave and take that shit somewhere else, or I'm going to fucking do it. And he's like, oh okay, I'll talk to him. Walks over and he's like, hey, man, you got to go. Dude looks at him and he's like, fuck you. Get the fuck out of my face. And at that point, that's my buddy right there. That's the homie. And I'm like, ooh, you done fucked up, Aaron. And I turn around and I take one step towards the table and I like just swipe it all away. And then I pour my beer over it. Like, obviously not the whole beer because I don't waste that shit. But like,
alcohol abuse.
Yeah, it's yeah. And fuck the drugs. We don't waste beer around here. But I pour it out over the table. Where someone's still sitting there to really get the fucking message across, because there was easily like a good like €300 worth of fucking blow right there.
Oh god.
Oh dude, it's a miracle they didn't come back with like 10 more dudes and beat the fuck out of all of us, or at least try to. But
yeah, because all the team guys were there, right?
Yeah, it was me and like it was like 4 or 5 other buddies of mine.
I feel like that bar fight in Kingston.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Some real fucking Tombstone type shit with the fucking the fucking car dealer.
Yeah. And
he's like mouthing off and he's getting all loud and he fucking
beats the
and walks
fucking
over to him and he's
shell.
like, pull that, and he's like, come on, pull that smoke wagon, let's go, and like skin it. Oh, dude, it's some total fucking Tombstone type shit.
Anyway, so you put your beer on his.
I pour the beer on it and I'm like, all right, bro, you need to get the fuck out. Like, first and last warning, get the fuck out now. And he stands up, and right as he stands up, his buddy's kind of looking around, because it's him and his buddy's looking around like, hey, Kyle, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like, oh, gosh, oh, jeez, man. And the dude stands up, and, like, literally all in unison, the whole fucking room just, like, circles in around him and is like, hey, bro, that's a bad fucking idea. Like, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
And we all told him to fucking leave, and he left. Never came back.
Job done.
Yeah, no job done.
So, try to have control of your situation at all times, the best way you possibly can.
I mean, you're not always going to be the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the valley.
No,
but that
not at
doesn't
all.
mean you don't have to be the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the valley to walk up to someone and be like, who's a friend of yours. I mean, obviously, you don't just walk up to random dudes and be like, "Hey, you're a fucking dick for doing that. Hey, that's not very nice." No, because that's how you get your fucking shit rocked. Like, because you never know what that other person is capable of or where their head's at.
But
They might turn around and just fucking clock you
times
for
out of
no
100,
reason.
there's always an option just to leave.
Yeah,
Get out of there.
You always just have an option to remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
Remove yourself from the equation.
Yep.
But you need to also be, I mean, like I was saying a minute ago, be your friend's guidance as well. Be there for your friends in ways that you would expect them to be there for you. Turn around and walk up to them and be like, hey, bro, can you, like, this isn't you. This isn't us. We need to fucking dip the fuck out of here. Like, this isn't our scene. Whether you're 16 and you're going to your first fucking house party after the fucking big game, whatever, lacrosse or whatever the fuck you Americans play. And
Football.
Yeah. No, it's
But not with their feet.
That's fucking hand egg ball, whatever the fuck that is.
Big skin.
But despite the fact that I'm a massive UGA football fan too. But go Bulldogs. But like, have that honesty with them. Don't be afraid to speak your fucking mind. Like, that'll get you really far in life, actually. People will respect that later on in life. I mean, I'm like that with you all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like that with the people we work with the other people we're friends with. I'd be like, hey, bro, dude.
It's not cash money.
That's not very cash money of you.
Because if you don't do this, this is something I struggled with for a long time. If you don't do this, then you create this environment for yourself that's very unhealthy, and it's extremely mentally taxing. You have friends that you don't really want to be friends with. I did that when I was younger. Like, I fucking whatever. Don't need to get all that. But I had friends I didn't want to be friends with, and I finally, whenever they weren't in my life anymore, I was so much happier, so much.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've had that with friends. I've had that with family members. Shout out to California. Fucking relationships of just very mentally taxing relationships of just constantly nitpicking and telling you who you can and can't be friends with, and telling you that when you got a brother down, whether they be family or fucking blood or not, that you can't be there for them when they're in the fucking hospital because they want attention. That's not a healthy relationship. That's not a healthy friendship either.
No.
You can't have one friend telling you, hey, you're not being a good enough friend to me because your other friend's in the hospital with a fucking brain injury. Like, no. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
That is not very cash money of you.
Not very cash. You need to remove yourself from those relationships.
No, remove yourself from the equation. That is, ironically enough, the best answer most of the time.
Yep.
Most of the time, that is the best answer. I was very unhappy at the job that I was at before I went into the service. And I knew I was ready at that point to go into the service. Like, hey, my mindset is right. All my fucking ducks are in a fucking row and shit of physically and mentally I'm at the level where I need to be. I mean, I'd sit up after work on my lunch break, both on my lunch break and after work. I'd be sitting there reading small squad tactics manuals and shit like that. From, shout out to the 75th Ranger Regiment. I'd be reading the Ranger Manual, like the Ranger Handbook and shit like that. And listening to audiobooks from SEALs talking about operations and the lessons that they learned. And I took all that.
Way better than what I did.
Oh, I was obsessed. It was a sickness.
When I was 18, I used to work at this night job. I worked at a fucking 7-Eleven when I was 18, taking night shift. And
you can tell the audience you were a bouncer at a strip club. It's okay.
No, I was not.
He wasn't. I just love giving him shit, bro.
But you could be way bigger than me to be a fucking bouncer. Like I'm average built.
I don't know, dude. I've been to some strip clubs. I've seen some pretty small ass bouncers.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Shout out to Deja Vu in fucking Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, dude. That was the skinniest ass fucking bouncer I've ever seen. He was smaller than me. And I'm like
what?
I'm like $170 now.
What the fuck?
At the time, I was just finishing up.
I was bigger than him.
No, that was a couple months after my recovery. I was like $170 at like 6'2".
Yeah.
Like $175. I was pretty small. Still am. I mean, I was like 210. I was like almost 200 pounds when I was in the Navy. Like I was solid fucking muscle though.
What?
Yeah. It was all in my legs, dude.
On the legs?
Yeah, dude. It was on the legs.
On the legs.
On the legs. But, dude, I lost so much fucking weight after my injury. But he was like $150 at like 5'10". He was small as shit.
Jesus. But
it's all right. Enough about bouncers at strip clubs.
Yeah.
Deja Vu in fucking Phoenix, Arizona.
But anyway, so what I used to do, but when I wanted to join the military, I used to go on Live League and watch like ISIS shooting videos. It's like, I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers. That's how I used to hype myself up.
Whatever motivation works, bro. I mean,
I feel like
however sociopathic it may be.
I was watching people get murdered on fucking the internet, and I was like, I hate these bastards.
It's not the internet. It's fucking the internet.
The internet.
It's fucking the internet.
The internet. But
the interwebs.
Christ. You ever regret joining?
Oh, absolutely not.
Good.
Through the peaks and valleys of... So people that are working day-to-day jobs right now in civilian life, 9-to-5s, whether you're working at Finish Line, selling shoes, or you're working on Wall Street, there's always going to be people that you fucking hate in your jobs.
Yeah.
Do not let those people control your lives.
No.
Do not let them ruin your life because of their own fucking unhappiness. If anything... You want to really fuck with those people and get in their head? Walk up to them and be like, hey, are you doing okay? How are you today?
How's your mental health doing?
That will throw them through a... Yeah, how's your mental health today? I mean, obviously you don't do it sarcastically like I'm being right now, but like, because then you never know, they might fucking throw punch you or something. But like, but like, no, seriously, like I did that to a buddy of mine who I worked with, who was just a raging cunt most of the time. And you know who I'm talking about? Fucking always had a fucking attitude. Like, she just always had a fucking attitude every Saturday night. Always had a fucking attitude.
Oh.
Bark off at me for no fucking reason. And now we're actually best fucking friends. Like, I have her on Facebook and Snapchat and shit, and she's actually totally fucking cool.
I don't know who you're talking about.
She's not there now.
Huh?
She was helping us out on weekends and shit.
Is it a girl you dated?
No.
Oh.
No. At our job.
But the
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
but
okay.
we'll touch on that again later off the podcast, because that's funny as shit, actually, on a personal note. But no, I walked up to her and I was like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, how's your life? Are you okay?" Because
you just someone at our job?
Yeah.
Was she working downstairs or upstairs?
Downstairs.
Okay, I think
First weekend that she was there, I think this was when you were still in the hospital, but like.
The one she doesn't work in the morning, right?
Yeah. But she's cool with us. Yeah, and she was helping out and stuff like that.
She wear glasses? No, she didn't. I don't think so.
Did she wear glasses? I don't fucking remember. Anyway.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, but I don't want to say her name just out of respect for her. But no, I walked up to her and I was like, "Hey, are you doing okay? Like, how are you?" I was like, "You've been really, like, I can tell you're really stressed out lately."
The one with the attitude problem?
Yes, not the one we currently have, but the one that
Yeah.
I fucking despised her before, and she used to piss me off every time I'd see her. And I'm like, "Fuck you, get the fuck out of my face."
Okay,
But,
I know you're talking about.
yeah, you know who I'm talking about now. Small, huge, fucking small circle there. But no, I was like, "Are you doing okay?" Sorry, I know I've said that like 3 fucking times now, but
No, you're fine.
we ended up becoming great fucking friends after that, because
I didn't even know.
I called her out now, and she was like, "You know what? No, I'm fucking stressed the fuck out, dude." And she was like in a really bad mental spot, and we ended up sitting for like 30 minutes. It was a really quiet day at work, so I was like, "Fuck it, we'll just chill out for a minute and talk." And we ended up just sitting back there in the room where I work and just fucking talking for like a good 30 minutes. She got a bunch of shit off her chest, and she was actually fucking great for the rest of the day, because she was happy, because she had someone to talk to, who she could kind of open up to. And so stuff like that, like that one person at work that's always fucking putting you down, fucking with your head and shit like that. You want to really fucking see what's going on with that person? See if they actually fucking hate you or something. Just walk up to them and be like, "Hey, no bullshit. You okay?" That will fuck with them. I've had people do that to me. I'm not the easiest person to deal with. I'll admit that. I'm a very complicated individual.
I have to get pushed past a certain point for me to do that to someone. Like, if they're just outright like being a pain in my ass, that's when I'm like, what's the issue?
Yeah, what's going on?
Is there a problem?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? How can we fix it?
Do you know why I pulled you over today? Is there a problem here? No, like, no, but like,
Let me see your ID.
Yeah. License and registration. Yeah. But like, no, just fucking ask them. Don't be afraid to ever speak your mind. I know I've said that like 3-4 times now, but don't be afraid to speak your mind, because later on in life, people will respect that massively.
Even if it doesn't go well, like, because you can do that and maybe it won't go well, but don't be afraid to do it even after, because everyone will respond differently.
And if it doesn't go well, what did you lose? You found out some honesty of like, oh yeah, they're fucking pissed at you about something.
Yeah. Maybe you can learn from it.
Yeah, maybe you can. What can you learn from that? Maybe you learned something out of it as well.
You learned they're a fucking dick, or you learned that maybe you were being a dick.
Yeah.
You can
maybe you fucked something up and you didn't even know it. And then you can focus on that and correct it and make yourself better.
Yeah.
Better yourself at it.
Always better yourself.
Absolutely.
Is there any closing thoughts you want to put in? We're running at 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Fuck me. Okay. That's an open invitation. Honestly, just always strive for excellence for yourself. Not perfection, but excellence.
Always better yourself.
Better yourself. Work on your craft. Perfect. I don't even like that word perfect. Just exercise greatness in your life. Always exercise greatness in your life. Don't set the bar for what people around you think the bar should be. Set your own bar of what you want your own standard to be. And set your bar high. Achieve high. It pays to be a winner. Always. Always pays to be a winner. Be competitive for yourself. Always be competitive for yourself. What about you? You got any closing thoughts?
Be smart. Be happy. Be healthy. Do good in the world and die great. This was Mental Health Check. Thank you for tuning in. Gonna fucking hit the pause button.